Hi guys, this is Rob from Waxadisc Music Tutorials. What I'm going to demonstrate for you today is the Roland Cloud subscription service. It's quite a modern service. It's only been around for about a year or two. I recently discovered it myself not long ago. Basically, it's all of the classic Roland synths, well almost all of them, available as VSTs, which you can download into your software, whatever it is you use, Ableton or Cuebase or whatever. It's available for all DAWs. And basically I'm going to demonstrate that for you just to show you how good it is, how good value for money it is, and it's something that I really think you should really check out and see if it's something that could add a lot of value and a lot of quality to your productions, whether you make hip-hop or house or techno or whatever it is you make. There's absolutely something for everybody amongst all this, because after all, Roland are one of the greatest manufacturers of musical instruments in the world. So I'm going to go through the video now and I'm going to demonstrate to you all of the synths that I've got and some of the sounds that are available on there. So join in and watch the video, and don't forget to subscribe at the end of the video. Thank you. Okay, so this is the Roland Cloud subscription service that I'm going to do a quick review of. And basically I'm going to go through all the synths that I've downloaded. I'm going to show you how to download it, and I'm going to show you the pros and cons of it. So this is all based on my opinion, obviously, of course, so the best thing for you to do would be to trial it yourself after looking at this video. So first things first, what you do is you go onto the Roland website and just type in on Google Roland Cloud Service, and once you've subscribed and you've downloaded the Cloud Manager software, this is where you can download all the soft synths and the samples and install them into your VST folder. It's a really simple process. All you have to do is, once you subscribe, you download the software, and when you press install, it installs it, and you select which VST folder you want it to go in. And then once you've done that, you just go over to your options, wherever you are, whether it's Ableton, Cuebase, Pro Tools, whatever you're on, and just rescan your folder, which is down here, and then it comes up, and you'll have a little Roland folder in your VST folders, and then there's the ones that you've downloaded. So they're the ones I've got so far. I haven't got all of them yet, because I'm just, playing back with these still at the moment. So you go through the list, and basically it's the Roland Cloud Manager, and then you've got your Era series, which is their latest hardware range from what I remember, and I've got one of those so far. I've not got this one. So the System 1, which is a really powerful synth, and then you've got the Anthology series, which goes from 1985 up to 1993, and there's 8 of those, and basically all these are sample packs of all sounds and presets which the Roland created during those periods. For all their keyboards, whether it was the D5 or the D50 or whatever it was they released during that time. So there's some really good stuff in there. There's a lot of dated sounds in there also, but if you're making like retro wave and all that kind of high energy sort of stuff, or new disco or retro house even, some of these samples in here are absolutely brilliant to use for that product. So I've only got the 85 and the 91 so far. I'm going to download the rest at a later date. But with these anthology ones, what you do once you've downloaded those, you put them into the Concerto software, which is over here, and that's a separate plugin altogether to the actual Cloud Manager ones. And in this lot, you've got them all in here, and you choose once you've installed them which ones you want. So if I double click on the 1985 one, it loads up, and there it looks like that. And then you've got all your obvious filters and your attack and delay and so forth, and your decays and all the original stuff that you would get on a normal synth. So set your classic polysynth sound. So as you can imagine, making that mid-80s retro wave sound. And you click the drop down, and there's all the presets that they've got in there, which they would have released during that time. So there's a whole millions of sounds to choose from. So that's pretty cool. So that's a separate thing altogether. So yeah, they're the anthology sounds. Obviously they get more and more advanced as the years go by, obviously, as Roland progressed with its technology. And then you've got the anthology orchestras, which are realistic orchestra sounds. So they're not like your bog standard MIDI files that you get for a string or a cello. These are proper genuine sounds that are all velocity sensitive, which is great as well. So if we go onto here, click that off, click yes, and then choose Orchestra Volume 1, and then in there you've got your violins and so that sort of thing's really good. So in there again there's a drop down and you've got all these really good cello sounds, and so wait for it to load. So as I say, they're all realistic, so they're really worth getting because you can get such a vast range of, you get every kind of instrument family, so you've got woodwind and string, tuned percussion and so forth, everything that an orchestra comes with. Powerful strings. So yeah, so that's the concerto thing with all the anthology sounds, that's where they run through. And then we go down, and then what we have is your flavour series, which are like sample packs which people have combined and put together. So you've got the Midnight one, which I've installed, and the Electrode one, which is more techno-y. I've not downloaded those two yet, so I've not really gone there yet. But the Flavour Midnight one is kind of like, let's just get rid of that. It's all like retro wave stuff. So I go over here and type Midnight, double click on that, load it up, and then you've got this sort of stuff. So it's all like that sort of retro stuff. And then the drop down there, and there's just a selection of sounds in there that they've created for the purposes of that sort of style of music. So as you can imagine, making that kind of stuff. So that's that. So they're the flavour packs that you can get. I think they're obviously going to add more and more to those as time goes by, but so far there's only 4 at the moment. And then you've got the Legendary series. Now you've got the D50, which I've not installed yet. You've got the classic Juno 106, the Jupiter 8, the JV 1080, the ProMars, the 101 and the SH2, which is an upgraded version. Sound Canvas, which is just standard MIDI sounds. So there's some really good ones in there, but you've got all your general MIDI in there, as well as other sounds. And you've got your SRX Orchestra, which is very similar to the anthology ones, which we've just explored. But they've got a lot of tuned samples in there. So, for example, like a harp that's in F sharp or something with a trill, or a flute that plays a trill or something like that. So you've got a lot of impacts and stuff that are effective for orchestral sort of film soundtrack stuff. And then you've got the System 100, and you've got the classic TR-808 drum machine. All of these, and then you've got this R-Mix thing, which I've not explored yet. And then you've got an electric guitar VST, and you've got a piano VST, which are, again, not installed at the moment. So once you've installed the things you want, you can go and explore them, and then you can start using them on your productions. So the first one I'm going to put up is the ProMars. So let's get the ProMars in there. And once that's loaded, there you go, look. And this is like a really old beefy synth, so Compuphonic. Look, it's got all the original look to it. And it's quite heavy, so let's just change that. So you can imagine doing that. You can put an arpeggio on and tempo sync it, and then get it to 1/16th, and then go. So that's that, and then what you do is with all the VSTs that they've got on here, they've all got the drop-down menus of all the presets in, and so you go there, you've got 4 different channels, 4 different banks, and you've got all them in there, look. So you've got loads of bass sounds and stuff, and which is rounding off. So you know, you can spend hours doing this. You've got all your basses. A load more basses in there, and then you've got your presets number 2, which are lead sounds, so a lot of pretty cool leads. And then you've got what's going there? And then in the preset 3 you've got synth sounds, so you've got your classic popcorn, which is a famous sort of sample sound. Go down an octave, whatever, and then you've got blank ones here, and then you've got all the effects here, which are all your classic sound effects, which a lot of them are really gritty and really nasty. nasty, and you know you do a lot of processing on these to. So that's that. Next up is the JV1080, the world famous one from the 90s. I think this came out sometime in the mid 90s. I might be wrong, might be late 90s. And this is all your bog standard sort of stuff. So you've got all your pianos in there, and you've got all of your Rhodes and electric organs and stuff like that. So you get a standard piano up, it'll be. So you've got all your pianos, so you need everything you need for production. It's all here. So you know, if you're in the middle of a track and you think, oh, I need a string sound, or I just need a standard piano, or I need a straightforward organ, you know, it's all there. You put everything at the click of your fingers. So you've got all your organs, and then you go on to down here and you've got a lot of kind of electric guitars and brass and bells, and there's loads of bell sounds and marimbas and all that sort of stuff. If you want to make modern pop music, that's the sound to use these days. And then you've got a lot of stuff like, you know, your ethnic sort of sounds as well. So you've got all that, and then you've got some pretty cool guitar sounds as well. Obviously, a lot of people try not to use synth guitars, if you like, preset ones. But sometimes they add a little bit of flavour to your track. And then you've got all your basses and all that, your slap bass and. So they're all bog standard stuff, and then you've got a lot of brass horns, as I say, and a lot of pads, a lot of strings, some nice harps, and all that kind of stuff in there. So that's that. And then you've got all your pads and all that kind of thing. So you are spoiled for choice, is what I'm saying basically. So that's that one, and then again in there lower down there's tons and tons of sounds in here, a lot of spacey sort of trancey sounds, of 90s techno-y sounds if you like. It's very good for ambient, this is. If you're interested in making ambient and chill out stuff, there's a lot of nice stuff in here that you can use for that production style. So that's all there. So that's the JV1080. And then the next thing we're going to do is the SH101, which is the classic bass machine. Came out around 81, I think, or 82, I'm not so sure. And then again, all the presets are in here for that, so they're obviously mostly bass sounds and lead lines. So let's get a bass sound up. And then stick on the arpeggiator and give it a 1-2. And then we'll hold the key down and just do a little mess about it. And then change the frequencies. So you know you can make acid ass with this. You know, if you've got the 303, you can quite easily replicate it on the 101. And basically, you know, with all of your settings here, you can always configure them to each one. So obviously in Ableton you click configure, and then you move which one you want, and then you close it and change that, and then you've got your frequency down here, so you can control that from your keyboard like so. So you go and whatever. So yeah, so that's the 101. As I say, it's got all these presets in there. It's got a lot of synths and all classic early 80s sounds. And then what else have we got in here? We've got the sound canvas, which is, as I say, it's just general MIDI stuff, which is great if you want to just get a generic sound quickly for a demo guide, or you want to put it in as a bit of backing on your track. It's always worth grabbing these pads and pianos and basses and stuff. So they're all in there like that. You've got all of them. There's tons and tons of them, but bog standard stuff, as I say, just pianos and pads. The SRX Orchestra, which is again very similar to the Anthology series. You've got your violins. But as I say, in this, you've got sounds that are like, look, like this, they've all been tuned to certain major and minor chords and stuff like that. So you got this, look. Yeah, so they're brilliant for film music, TV music, or advert music, whatever it is you do. Which are really cool. And then brass tabs. You know, pretty cool, really, aren't they? So, if you want to use them for your tracks, or horror hits, whatever that is. You know, you can use a lot of these in any sort of music, really. It's just, and then you've got choirs and stuff like that, which are really nice. And then obviously there's loads more stuff down here, like a lot of percussion. There's loads of percussion stuff. So you can't really go wrong with this stuff. So yeah, that's the orchestra one. As I said, there's tons of stuff in that. Then we've got the System 1, which is this synth here. You've got classic Dominator, R&S, techno sound. There's a lot of hard synth sounds. There's a lot of nice sounds as well. What else is in there? There's all sorts of stuff. And in there, there's, as I said, there's countless sounds that could go on forever in here. Lead sounds and stuff, reso tech sounds, and so that's that. Then we have the System 100 synth, which you can just do all this kind of stuff with it. You know, when you're wiring it all up to like an analog synth would, which goes from in to out, obviously. And then you can, if you're really into this sort of, you know, processing analog synths, and this is your sort of thing. This you can go on forever with this. It's got absolutely all these different routing patterns down here and stuff that you can get involved in. Your cut-offs. So as I say, all these sounds. There's a lot of sound effects in this one. So yeah, that's great if you want to make 70s jazz funk or experimental electronic music. You cannot go wrong with this. So if you're into putting cables in and all that and doing all those kind of crazy things that you can do with analog synths, then this is one for you. It takes a lot of time to learn, but it's one of those things that's really worth getting into. So loads of sound effects. And then we come to the final, which is the TR-808, the classic drum machine. And this is just, it's absolutely brilliant. It's absolutely spot on. So there you go. It's all in there, look. You can stop it, and then you can put in your own patterns. You've got all these presets that are built in, which they provided. And then you've got all different kits here. You've got a few different kits here. Look, tuned kits, high kits, drive kits. You know, with heavy bass kicks and stuff like that, and dirtier snares. So there you go. They are the synths that I've downloaded so far, and basically I've not experimented fully with all of them yet because it takes a lot of time to learn and to get the best out of them. But you really cannot go wrong with this. Price wise, all it is here in the UK to rent a month is £18.95. That's what it works out at for me. So whatever that works out in dollars or euros, I'm not so sure. So you just have to do an exchange rate on that. But for £18.95 you get all of these synths and more that I've not downloaded yet. and it saves on, you know, buying VSTs individually. You can rent them, and obviously if you don't pay up, they just cut off the license and it just stops working after 5 minutes, I think, or it makes a nasty high-pitched noise. But you know, and then once you pay again, it all works back on again. It's all back in, so you can have it as and when you want. You don't have to subscribe for an entire year and so on. You can just pick and choose when you want it. So they're the pros of it. So it's only $18.95. You know, it's less than 20 quid. It's really nothing at all for a selection of some of the finest synths in the world. But the only problem I have with it is the Juno 106 and the Jupiter 8 have a latency problem. Now, I don't know how to get around this at the moment. I've tried all sorts of stuff. But the only thing I do is record the pattern in, find the sound I want by soloing it, and then converting it over to audio by freezing the track and bouncing it to wave. But as you can see, my latency just shot right up, look, with the Juno 8. See what I mean? It's just gone crazy. But that's the only problem I've got. I'm going to have to work around this. So I need to figure out how to do that. If I turn certain things off, would it make it better? I don't know. Clearly not. So they're the only problem. They're the only problems I have with it, with the Jupiter 8 and the Juno 106. But I've got a good Juno 106 replica synth anyway, so it's not really a problem for me. And then in here, you've got all the presets in here for the Jupiter 8, which is one of the finest synths ever made. But look, see? Just goes straight out of the roof. So I can't really use that at the moment. So, quick recap on everything. The pros are you've got access to all of the classic Roland synths. The price is cheap, it's less than £20 a month. It's dead easy to install. The only problem with it I have is the latency. Anything else, you know, you can spend hours working on stuff with this that you've got here. You probably won't even need any of the synths, really. You don't have to individually buy them, which is great. So yeah, so head over to Roland's cloud service on Google, check it out and see what you think of it. I hope you've enjoyed this video and it's been of some use to you. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and check out my other videos, and check out the blog as well at waxadisc.blogspot.co.uk. The address is all in the information box at the bottom, drop down on this video. Thank you very much for watching. Any questions you might have regarding the Roland thing or anything else on my YouTube channel, please get in touch and I will speak to you soon. Thank you and goodbye.